Good afternoon and welcome. I am Julie with Creations by Julie. I appreciate you turning in this afternoon. I hope you're having a great day. You might hear thunder rumbling a little bit. We're having scattered showers here in Southwest Texas, kind of?
South.
Yeah,
South
southeast,
Central.
south, yeah, we're south. Anyway, but I'm glad you're here and thank you for joining. If by some chance something weird happens and our power goes off or the internet stops, don't worry, I'll hop back on just as quick as I can and finish out the video for you. Let me pull it up. Ed is behind the camera today, and let me pull this up on my phone so I can give it to him. He can see the comments better. Sometimes on the iPad the comments just stop. So let's see if I can find us on here. Make sure we're live. Okay, yep, I think I see me. A few of you have hopped on. Thank you for being here. As you hop on, let us know where you're from and if you're new to the page. If you're new to the page, I really appreciate you being here. And the first of the year, I always went twice a week on live, and I could tell you what day, but since Ed's been sick and stuff, we're going to try to do once a week. I just am not sure what day it'll be, but I'll give you a heads up at least an hour before. And if you'll click on the buttons to where you get notifications, you should be notified that I'm going to go live. Today, we're going to work on more pumpkins. Believe it or not, I have already packed up all my fall stuff. I saved out a few things to show you these pumpkins, but you know, if you're a crafter, you know it's time to get started on Christmas. So we have this pumpkin, and then I have another pumpkin that I'm going to show you next week, and then we'll probably get started on some Christmas stuff. But I think I have everything I need. Let's see, what else was it? There's no freebie today, but there probably will be on my next live. Be sure and catch that. But I still would appreciate it if you would share this video with your friends. That helps me reach more people and helps me with my numbers and communication and all that good stuff. So let's get right to it. Ed's going to zoom in. I'm going to put on my glasses so I know I can see what I'm doing. Actually, he's just going to lower. If y'all have been with us last year, we try not to zoom in because sometimes Ed makes a surprise appearance. I'm not even sure he combed his hair today, and that might not be good. Okay, so last year I showed you how to take fabric and to make pumpkins. This is the big one, and then a small one, and today I'm going to go ahead and make the third one. Well, I'm going to show you how to take and stack the pumpkins and make a pumpkin stack. It's done the same way. There's just a few little things that are different. And I will tell you, as far as your measurements, if you want one this size, which this one actually measures about 5 inches tall and about 5 inches around, cut your material. Actually, I ripped my material, but start a cut. This one is 20 inches, a piece of material that's 20 inches long, 10 inches wide, I guess, or high. You want your length to be twice your height. So this one is 20 by 10. This one was done at 16 by 8. And then the smaller one is 13. And should be 6.5, but this one's almost 7, so it may be just a little higher. But basically, 13 by 6.5. And all I do, in fact, I can fix that right now. All I do is just find what that I want, and let's hope it cuts straight. I hope that's pinking shears. You don't really see the seams, so I just rip. That made this one a little bit not quite as high. So now it's like 6.5. Okay, and it's a little crooked, but that's okay. All right, the next thing you're going to want to do, I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do these stacked pumpkins. This is our regular pumpkins, and then I'm going to show you one that kind of looks like, what'd you call it, Dad, a butternut squash? Mm-hmm. But they make cute little stacked pumpkins. So once you've got your material, the length and stuff that you want it. You want to fold it over on itself. You could use glue if you want to. If I have time, I usually like using this Sofro stuff. To me, it just holds better. So I'm going to use my iron for just a second here. And you want to fold it to where the outside is facing you, on the outside. And then take a piece. This is one that you actually have to take off the backing, but it just rips real easy. And it usually comes off real easy. And it's just a little clear. I think it's called Sofro. I'm not sure. Sewing tape or something. And then you want to put it on there because you want a good seam here. Fold this back over it, and then you just take a damp cloth, put over it, and then you just steam it with the iron. It just takes a couple of seconds. It's just a good hold. All right. And sometimes it sticks to the towel. And I'm just going to go over this a little bit and dry it. You make a tube, basically, is what you're doing. Okay, I'll have Ed turn off the iron now. Let me make sure I'm done with it first. Now, if you check it before it cools a little bit, you could pull it loose. I'm just going to check my seam and make sure I don't have any holes. No, I don't. It's good. So we're going to unplug the iron. You just leave it sit there, it's okay. Okay, like I said, you could use your glue gun and put glue across there. All right, now what we're going to do, and it doesn't matter which one you do, top or bottom, but you want to run a running stitch while you still have it turned wrong side out. And y'all know, if you watched me last year, I don't use thread, I use dental floss. It's just a whole lot better. And it doesn't break. I don't think I've had a single one break on me. And I use a pretty good sized needle. That's mainly so I can see how to thread it, and it's just easier to run it through there. And I double my dental floss. Just to give it a little extra strength. And you're going to sew, I'm pretty sure it's called a running stitch, one that you can gather when you're done. If y'all have any questions, just pop them in there and Ed will try to see them and I'll answer them as we go along. If not, I'll go back and answer at the end of the, sometimes the comments go so fast he can't catch all of them. Or if you're new to the page, again, I'll say welcome and I'll go back and give you a proper welcome at the end. Okay, I am just gonna get started and start right at my seam. And I usually go like a thumb's width down. And you just want, if you can see what I'm doing, you just do a running stitch. And I usually get a good bit of the material on my needle before I pull it through. Doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to stay perfect. And then I'll just pull it. We're closing up the end of our pumpkin. That's what we're doing. And I use 3 different types of material for this pumpkin. You could do them all 3 the same. You want something that kind of coordinates though. Again, I'm just in and out, in and out. Doesn't have to be the exact same distance. You just want to close up the bottom of your pumpkin. And since we're stacking these, doesn't have to be an opening left. You know, when you made them 3 pumpkins, you want a little bit of an opening there to run your jute or whatever through to make the veins. Okay, so what I like to do, and I like to tie it again. So I'm just going to pull both sides of this thread and gather my pumpkin up pretty tight. And then I'm going to, before I cut it, I'm going to tie it off. These are very easy to make and very fast, especially this little one. and I'll usually do it twice. Now, just to be on the safe side, a lot of times I'll start back and just kind of catch these edges and just run this around one more time, just kind of trying to catch the edges in just a stitch. And I do it until I get back around where I had my tie. And then I'm going to cut that off and tie it again. And with dental floss, you're not going to have the bottom of this pumpkin coming undone. Okay. Then what you're going to want to do is turn your pumpkin. See, there's the bottom that we just stitched. That's going to be the bottom of your pumpkin. So you're going to want to turn it. Now you've got two things you could do. You could go ahead and stuff it and then start sewing around. I like to, that may not be long enough. I'm going to get another piece. That may not, I may not have left enough long enough to go all the way around. And I get my dental floss from the Dollar Tree, y'all. I mean, it's perfectly fine. It's just so much stronger than thread. And you're going to do the same thing at the top of your pumpkin, but you're going to leave a little bit of space to stuff it. Then you will finish filling it up. If you're new to the page and you want to see another video, go back and look at my videos from last year. We did this also. Okay, so I like to start at the seam, and I'm going to do the same thing. Come down about a thumb's width and get that going through there. Once you get it through that sew fro in the seam, it's real easy. And then I'm just going to start running a running stitch across the top of it. And again, I don't pull it all the way, just part way.
Why would you call it a running stitch instead of a gather?
It could be a gathering stitch, I don't know. I'm not a seamstress, I don't sew. Very seldom do I even sew on a button, y'all. I'd rather throw the shirt away. I can hem, I don't like to. But I guess it's because you're just running in and out, in and out, in and out. Some people may call it a gathering stitch because you do gather it. And I'm going to go most of the way. And then I'm going to leave it attached and open it back up so I can get my hand down in there for the stuffing. Now you could take an old pillow and use the stuffing out of it. I buy the polyfill, and you're just going to start stuffing your pumpkin. Get it down in there good. All in the bottom. Try to get the edges. And you can make it, you know, really puffy, or you can make it smaller. You can get probably, I would say 6 to 9 pumpkins, probably 9 pumpkins out of one bag of polyfill. Now remember, when we did the other pumpkins, we did little handfuls of stuffing because we would run a needle through it to put the veins, but we're not going to do the veins that way for these stuffed ones. You could, but it's just a lot of trouble and you don't have to. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more on that side. When you have it stuffed the way you want it, it's probably big enough. And then I find where my needle is at, and I find the other one, and I pull it enough first. I kind of put my fingers in there just so I make sure I get kind of in the middle, the pull. Now see, I still have this much that I haven't done, so I'm going to finish that up all the way to where the other one's at, and pull. Now I am going to be putting the stem in this one, so I want to make sure that I leave it open a little bit to be able to get a stem down in there. The other ones you can do really tight because you're not going to put anything on inside. And then I'm just going to tie it again. You could do it 2 or 3 times, whatever you want to do. Make sure it doesn't come undone. And I'm going to do the same thing as far as just trying to catch the outer part and go around the pumpkin. One more time. I just want to try not to sew up my center too tight. Okay, and then when I get back around, I'm not pulling or anything, I'm just going to tie this off and cut it. Okay. Now, the way we're going to do the stems on this one, make sure I kind of have a hole there to put my stem in. We're going to take some jute. I actually am out of the really thin jute. That's probably what I would have used, but this is a little thicker. And if we were doing this to make 3 sitting pumpkins, you see I only put 4 veins on each of these. I would put 2 more and make 6 if you were going to have them sitting like that. But with the stack, you don't have to. So I'm just going to do 4 on this one too. Do a round, pull it as tight as you want it, and then bring it back up and tie it. I may use part of this as my decoration on my pumpkin once I get it stacked, and I may not. I had my heat gun, and then once you get your veins in there, you just kind of mold and shape your pumpkin a little bit. But you're going to have to be doing more of that once you stack them anyway. So, all right, that's pretty good. So once you've got all 3 of your pumpkins done like that, then you're going to take this one and you're going to stack. I'm going to try lining up my seams and see if they'll stack fairly neat. And then, put more glue in there. Now, some people like put the moss and stuff to where it sticks out the sides. I normally don't, because I don't think you can really see it that well. So I'm just putting a lot of glue right here on the bottom of this pumpkin, because I want it to stack on top of this other one. All right, and then I'm just going to push down on it for a minute. Let it catch. Do y'all have any questions? It's really quiet over there. Okay, it only takes a minute. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the smallest pumpkin. I'm going to put my glue on the bottom of the pumpkin. Now you could tie them together and not have to worry with the glue, but I don't really want to put enough jute on it to where I feel like it's keeping them together. The one advantage to that is 1 year you could use them, if you don't glue them together and you just stack them and then tie your jute around it, you could take the jute off at any time. Once you glue them together, you wouldn't want to do that because you're messing up, especially the one in the middle, you got glue on both ends of it. But you could, if you're making them for yourself. These that I make to sell, I do glue them together. Okay. All right, that's fairly straight. Okay, I think I'm going to put the stem in before I put the other jute on. And I just have this bag with some stuff in it. And I'm going to make sure I can get my stem down in there good. And I'm just going to go ahead and put a lot of glue on the stem. And, you know, pumpkins aren't perfect, so none of this has to... I'm just going to twist it a little bit so it kind of goes down in the hole. And then I'm also going to take that jute there and kind of hold it so it'll pick up some of the glue.
Yeah, it's a custom-made stem.
Yeah, straight out of the yard and broke. Some of them were thick enough Ed had to cut them, but this one I just picked up out of the yard, I think, this morning and just cut. You could use anything for your stem. You could use cinnamon sticks. I actually have, in my Etsy shop, I have some cinnamon scented pumpkins. They're all about this size. They're the small ones. And they do have a cinnamon stick for the middle. Okay, now I'm going to pick where I want. And this is where you just kind of have to play because you don't know for sure how much to leave. And I'm just going to kind of, you know, go and lay it down. Go to the bottom and twist it. Somewhere there on the bottom. And come back, hopefully right across from it. Now see, there's part of my, it came off. And then I'm going to come back up this way. This just helps. Boy, I'm really getting to the end of that. This is just going to help. All right, I got to find where he's supposed to be. I think he's supposed to be right here. And you can adjust this once you get it. That's not helping me much. All right, now see, I did it a little too short. So you just kind of have to guess. And this is sticking to the plastic, so that's not helping me. All right. Let's see if I do down and back. Okay, let's try this again. You want enough tension that it's holding your pumpkins together, but you don't want so much that it's making it really crooked. And then I just, like you're wrapping a present or something, I'll just twist it and bring it back up the other side. See how it's kind of pulling sideways now? And then tie it as tight as you want it. If you want it loose, right, that's pretty straight. And then I'm going to put another knot up here. I may go on this side of my stem this time. And you just pull it. That's pretty straight. So I have 1, 2, 3, I have 4 on the outside of the pumpkin. If you want to do another one, you could, but usually 4 is enough to hold it together, where you can pick it up as a stacked pumpkin. And then you can always move these. Once I have them where I want them, I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue at the bottom. And so you can do it where they get out of whack, and then you just have to get them back. But don't be afraid to move your ones on the outside. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'm going to put just a tad of glue here at the bottom so my jute doesn't move, and let that dry for just a second. Then when you get this done, that's when you get to start the really creative part of it, and you decorate it any way you want to decorate it, with the jute, with the raffia, leaves, pit berries, however you want to decorate it. Okay, make sure that's dry. When you tie them together and you've glued them together, see, you can pick them up, and you can even pick them up by the stem. But he's not quite dry. He was trying to stick to my board. How many of you have tried doing these stuffed pumpkins? See, if you wanted to turn these to where they lined up with these, you could do that too. But when you do it opposite, it just kind of makes it look like it has a few more vein to it. I have a few strands. Hopefully that. Okay, and then you just decorate the top. If you want to cut off these things, you can. I think I'll just kind of leave them on there for now. Cut them more they're same. Okay, and then you decide how you want to decorate it. I may put some pit berries in this one. I have a few leaves that I saved. I could do raffia. And here you just, there's no right or wrong way. You get creative, and you just want to put things and glue them where you like them. You put your leaves together or apart. This is when it, like I said, gets fun. Okay, I actually have some orange raffia. Let's see. Y'all know raffia's a mess. And it's all different shades of orange. Brown and orange. Let's see. I may just do a bow. You could put ribbon, pumpkins. I'm just trying to tie a bow with this handful of raffia. Because I want it to look a little different than the others. This raffia may need a little help as far as being so stiff. We probably will cut it shorter or start ripping it or something because it's a little too long. Okay. Trying to just keep my junk out of the way over here. Okay, I've got some pine cones. I've got this little pumpkin. I've got little bitty pumpkins. But to me, they don't really look a whole lot like pumpkins. They don't have a stem or anything. So I'm not sure. This is where you can just do, I like the pine cones. So I'll put a couple of pine cones there. And I got a bag of little bitty pine cones and stuff from Hobby Lobby.
Pine cones wouldn't be in the garden though.
Wouldn't be in the garden.
They'd overshadow the pumpkin.
Yeah, but you could have them in your yard. Sometimes Ed thinks too, what was it you told me about the sunflowers? And you know what I think I might have done? No, that's right. I was going to say, I didn't want my pumpkins on my bottom one to be upside down, but they're not. He'll tell me, you know, that's not the right greenery that goes with sunflowers. Oh well, that's what I'm putting. Don't overthink it. I'm just going to put a couple of pine cones. You could put a tag. There's a lot of different things you could do. But I think I'm going to keep it pretty simple. And I may later add another, like another leaf towards the back. I'm not sure. But anyway, you get the idea. You could use anything you wanted. I like putting a little pine cone, but I don't know. I may look for another tiny pine cone. This, not pine cone, pumpkin. That one's too big, and these are too little. But I'll have to go out to the shed to do that. So, and I think those are too bright orange. So anyway, we'll leave the rest of the decorating up to y'all. I may add some different leaves or something. But anyway, that's basically if you want to do one shaped like this. I may wet those a little bit. Okay, now if you want to do the other, it's a little bit different. All right, get up there. Let's just set that there for now. You may not can see it on the camera, but okay. To do the next one, it's a little bit different because I'm not going to use this needle or the dental floss. We're just going to glue on this one. And these are more flat pumpkins, and I'll tell you how I did those. I did 2 of them. See, this is more like a
Aiken squash.
yeah, butternut squash or whatever they're called. They're shaped different, but they make a really cute stacked pumpkin. And I'm going to show you the third one, the smaller one we're going to put on. And what I did to get these sizes, I just took some cardboard and I cut. The bottom one's 9.5 inches and the second one is 8 inches. And you want 2 pieces. And for the smaller one, I just used a bowl, and I'm not even sure how big it is. It's 6 inches, 6 by 6. So I'm going to do the third in this pretty fall color. And when you do it, you want to make sure that, of course, that your fabric is folded. Let's do this end, because you want 2 pieces, and you're just going to do circles. And I cut my circles out with pinking shears because to me it just gives it a cute edge. It's not a plain edge. So just trace your circles. Like I said, it was 9.5 and 8, and this one is 6. So I'm just going to trace around. You don't have to be precise. Of course, when you're tracing, this material doesn't matter what's right and what's wrong, but make sure you're tracing on the back side of the material, because you don't want to see that mark. And then I'm going to take my pinking shears and just cut out 2 pieces. Don't have to be exactly on the circle, doesn't have to be perfect, just close. I was doing something the other day. Ed said something about the pumpkin wasn't straight or something. I'm like, well, you know, you don't go to the patch and pick a pumpkin and it's perfect. Crafting's all about just doing what you enjoy. And that's what makes it, y'all could do these and they'll look totally different. See, that's not a perfect circle, but it's close enough. Y'all can do one, and it's gonna look totally different than mine. Okay, so what you wanna do is, this would be, the inside is gonna be your right side of the material. So you're gonna have to turn it over and put them to where the insides, that doesn't make any sense. That is a line, that's not a marker, I don't think. Well, maybe so. Anyway, you wanna try to line them up where this is the outside of it. This is the outside of it. But again, this doesn't have to be exact because you can trim. But I'm gonna try to line them up because I'm just gonna glue around the edges of this one. And you wanna leave just enough opening to stuff it with. Okay, so I'm gonna start here, and I'm gonna do just a thin line of glue and just do a little bit at a time. You're just gluing two circles together. You just be careful that you don't burn your fingers. You want to make sure that you don't skip any places, because once you put that stuffing in there, you don't want to have to try to fix it with stuffing all coming out the side. And I can see I'm going to trim a little bit before I stuff it. I'm going to leave just enough kind of to get my fingers in there and stuff it. Okay. Then I'm going to kind of don't cut all the way through to your glue, but I'm just going to trim these edges just a little bit. And then check and make sure I didn't cut where it's glued. You probably wouldn't even have to do this. I don't think you can really tell once you get your jute on it. Alright, so I'm going to take my fingers and just run around and make sure. You don't want to push too hard because you could pull the glue apart. And you're not going to stuff it with tons like you did the other one, because it will pull apart. Alright, that is glued, I think, but it just felt a little loose right there. But it's not. Okay. So then you're going to take your stuffing, and you don't want it stuffed real big. But you're going to put it in there and kind of take your fingers and put it to the edges and get all your edges stuffed first. It's being really quiet today. I lost y'all?
No, nobody's talking.
Y'all need to make Ed work for his money. I'd hate to have to cut his pay. Because see, we're just gonna stuff a little bit. If you get it too much, it's too hard to close up the end. You want it just push that stuffing in there. And I think that's about all I'm gonna put, and I'm gonna try not to get the stuffing here, because you can move the stuffing around once you get this glued. Here's where you have to be careful and not get a whole lot of this stuffing. So you're gonna go just a small area. You could take your needle thread and do this side if you wanted to, but this is usually where I burn myself. But you just kind of have to stick that stuffing back up in there and go slow. And close it up just a little at a time. This is where it's real easy just to miss a little place. Because you get down to the part that you just have a little bit right there. Okay, once you get it glued, you can kind of mash your stuffing around. I just think using pinking shears just gives it a cute little edge rather than just material stuck out there. Okay. And of course with this one you don't have a hole at the top. So you just kind of have to take your, I think I dropped my jute. And hopefully I have enough jute to finish this. If not, y'all will get the idea. And you could use yarn. You don't have to use jute. This would be pretty with a black yarn. Tie them together. But you want to do whatever you've done the others as far as the veins. You at least want to do the top part of this one. And then you just kind of do it the same way. And I'm only going to do 4. Twist it and pull it. Once you get it tied, then you can maneuver it around a little bit. And this is pretty easy to untie if you want. Want it thicker? Okay. So see, it's not as tall as the other pumpkin, but it's still cute. I keep throwing my jute on the floor. All right, let's see if this one I can tie it without gluing them. If not, you would do the same thing. Put a little glue here. Put this one on top. Put a little glue here. Put this one on top. Let's see if we can do this without tying them together. Okay, we're doing it there. Because these aren't quite as tall. So this works fine. You could do another one if you wanted to do several, but this is kind of thick jute, so I don't think I want to do but 4. And this is not near as tall, so they should stay together fine. Alright, now I'm gonna need to get another stem. Let's see, that was a little short. I put a couple of those other stems in here. It may be too long. It is thinner though. I think I'm gonna go with that one. It's a little longer. Okay, so I've got it where I want it. I'm just putting some glue there, and I'm putting some glue on the edges of the jute. And I'm just gonna hold them there for a minute. This one I have a cute little tag I'm gonna put on also. And some sunflowers. So let's let that dry. I'm gonna use this little tag. I got it from Hobby Lobby. I got the sunflowers from Hobby Lobby. And those leaves aren't quite as dark. Oops. There's a fall leaf. No, I don't like that. I think we're gonna go with these, even though they're not quite as dark. I had some of these leaves that were burlap. Let's see. Yeah. You just kind of have to play. These are pretty big. But I could still use them as part of the decoration. Or raffia. I think I will use this one, and it's got a long enough stem. I'm going to kind of cut this back a little so it doesn't stick out quite so far. And use this stem that it's got on it just to tie it around. These are nice because you can bend them. You can get them to lay down, because I'm going to take the green ones and put in here also. This is pretty much the type of thing that I might start something and I don't have a clue where I'm going with it. I just work with it. Kind of the same way I do my grapevine wreaths. I do it until I like it, and when I like it, I quit. Sometimes I get carried away and I have to just walk away for a minute and then go back and look at it and say, oh, you need this, you need this, you need this. Or you've got enough on it, you need to quit. That's too long. I'll cut it off. Okay, and the little tag already has a thing on it, so I'm just gonna kind of do this and slip it over my stem. And put just a little bit of glue right there so it'll stay. Alright, can y'all see what I'm doing? This is going to be the front of it. And now I'm going to put my flowers on there. And I may have to do each of them separate to get them where I want them. But if I can't work backwards, so sorry. These make cute little stacked pumpkins. And like I said, this is just where you get creative and play with it and do it until you like it. You could put raffia, you could put all kinds of things. I'm gonna put this one on this side. And then maybe bring that leaf up a little. But you could keep adding. I don't think I'm gonna add much more. I like these with the tags on them.
Linda Gibbs says, hi, Julie.
Hi Linda, thank you for being here today. I know this is not a normal time, but we're just gonna have to come on when we can for a couple of weeks. Okay, that may still need a little bit more, maybe some regular raffia, maybe not. I'll set it aside and come back and look at it. I don't have any and don't plan to put any of this type on my Etsy shop. I will have several of these. So these are the two that we did today. I will have several of these on the website later this week or something in different colors and stuff. But I just have, this is only the second one like this I've done. The other one's sitting in there on my fireplace. So, I don't know. We may give this away next week or something. Who knows? But I may play with it some more. And then I may quit. But now that's the pumpkin stacks for today. If you have any questions, just put them on there and I'll go back and read and answer those that I can. I'm going to show you, I have one more pumpkin to show. Oh, I was going to use this on something. I may go back and add that to this one. Need some curlies. Anyway, I may add that because I had planned to, I think. Sometimes I start out with something and I'm like, okay, maybe this, but it probably does need that. So anyway, I told Ed yesterday, I usually like to at least try one of something before I sit down and try to tell you how to do it. And then I just kind of get an idea of what I want to do and go from there. But I had a thought for a pumpkin. Well, actually, I didn't have the thought. I watched somebody else make one of them. And I thought, well, that'd be kind of cool. And so I ordered it was made with like a heavy, stiff rope. And it was supposed to be just a rustic rope pumpkin. And I sat down yesterday to make one. And I'm telling y'all, it was the first time I think I've ever done a craft and put it in the trash can. It's just like, no, I don't like this. It's not doing right. It was a pain. I thought it would be cute, and it wasn't. It was just too much trouble. So I threw it.
Linda Gibbs says she likes the small one.
Do you? I do too. Go in there off the fireplace and get me the other one that's short like this. I'll show you the one I did playing. But I really liked this fabric, and so I wanted to do one with it too. But anyway, so we won't be doing a pumpkin out of the rope because it didn't turn out the way I wanted it at all. But I do have one more pumpkin that I am going to show you how to do, and we'll do that next week. Did you find it, Ed? Y'all know what it's like when you send a man to look for something. No, it's the fabric pumpkin, the three stack. I know it's in there. It's not a regular pumpkin itself. There's not that much on the fireplace. It may be over with where the lantern is that has the bow on it. I'm not sure. If he doesn't find it, I'll show it to you next week. But this is what we're going to do next week. Hopefully you can see it. This is actually one of the small pumpkins from Walmart. You probably could use the small pumpkins from the Dollar Tree, but the only thing is, this is solid, and I'm afraid when you go to make the indentions, the one from the Dollar Tree will break up. Let me run in there right quick and get the stacked pumpkin. I'll be right back. Y'all talk to Ed. Sorry, I was wrong. I apologize. It wasn't in there. It's in here. I forgot I took a picture of it. Sorry. He was right, y'all. Wasn't on the fireplace. It was in the spare bedroom. I forgot I had taken a picture of it. But this is the one I did last week. It seems to have I may have put, let's see, one,
Hold
two,
it up.
1, 2, 3. No, I just have 4. It just, maybe the one in the middle is a little bit thicker, but I thought it turned out really cute. And these are the colors that I've got around the fireplace, but you won't hear me say it too much, but that was my fault, not his. I figured he just couldn't find it, but it wasn't in there, so he was right. But anyway, these are the 2 I've made of those. And you know what we're gonna do? I was telling him the other day, looking at this one, I said, now this would be really cute to add one more here for a Christmas tree. Do it in greens. Wouldn't that be pretty? So we're going to do that too as it gets closer to Christmas. But anyway, here's the one that's made out of fabric. And you cut the places and then you push the fabric in with like a butter knife or something. And I'm afraid that the Dollar Tree pumpkin would break apart because it's hollow. So this pumpkin was only $2.98, I think, at Walmart. So if you want to try this one, and it's got a cute, you can't really see, I spray painted the stem. I used the stem that was on it and just spray painted it black. But this is what we're going to do next week. I'll show you how to make one of these, and it's not hard at all, but they turn out really cute. And they feel good with that fabric. But anyway, I'm in love with this pumpkin fabric, so I'm thinking we may do one like this, only do it in these 2. Or I may do the polka dot. I don't know. But anyway, this is what next week will be. But if you go in Walmart, pick you up one of their pumpkins. They have this size for like $2.98. Then they have a bigger one if you want it. It's like $6.
Linda Gibbs says it was cute, but I missed when she put it down, so I don't know what she was talking.
Oh, that's okay. All right, well, that's it for today. We went almost an hour, which is not too bad, seeing as how we did 2 different pumpkins. These 2 are almost the same material, only I used a brown for the top of this one and an orange for this one. But when you're doing your decorating, I mean, just do different things and mix them up. I'm probably going to put just a bunch of pumpkins on my fireplace if I don't give them away. Who knows? But I appreciate y'all being with me today, and I will go back and read all the comments. And I think that's it for today, and I will let you know what day next week. Seem like we have a couple of doctor's appointments next week, don't we? And I think I get my second COVID shot, and I may not feel great a day or 2 after that. But I will let you know a day ahead of time. Just look for the notifications, and I usually try like an hour before to put up the notifications. But thank y'all so much for being with me today and just taking a little bit of your time. If you're watching this on replay, put in #replay so I know you watched it, and we will see y'all next time. Have a great day and a great rest of your week.